All right, welcome. Economic reasoning principles, number 3. All right, this one is pretty simple. People respond to incentives in predictable ways. All right, so an incentive is a reason, a motivation for doing something. And one of the basic ideas of economics is that if you give somebody an incentive, a reason to do something, or a reason to not do something, they'll respond to it in a way that we could predict. So for instance, you go to a store and you're planning to buy some clothes and everything in the store is 80% off. Well, people respond to an incentive in a predictable way. And what do you think that is? When prices go down and become cheaper, what are you going to be more likely to do? Well, you'll probably take your time and shop and try your best to find stuff because it's such a good sale. So you're likely to buy more stuff at a cheaper price than you are if stuff were more expensive. So on the other hand, you go to a store and the price of everything just tripled. Well, you're probably not going to buy very much. So your incentives have changed. One provides you an incentive. Lower price is an incentive to buy more. A higher price is an incentive for you to buy less. And people respond to that, and I think that's just a common sense thing that we see in day-to-day life. But that's one of our main economic reasoning principles. All right, along with this idea, choices are influenced by incentives, the rewards that encourage, and the punishments that discourage behavior. All right, so we did one that encourages behavior. A lower price encourages us to buy more stuff. I think you would agree with that. At the same time, there are probably certain places, those of you who already have your driver's license and you driving around, you probably know that there are certain places where you are likely to see a cop that's out there like in a speed trap with a radar gun, and they're just waiting to pull you over if you're speeding. So what happens? Well, if you are aware of that and you don't want a speeding ticket, which is a reasonable thing to want to avoid, it's a punishment, it's a bad thing, it can ruin your day, well, then your behavior will probably change in a predictable way. It doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden always drive 45 miles an hour and never go over the speed limit ever again. That's not what this is saying. Again, economics is about small incremental changes to our behavior. But when you're driving on that specific street in that specific area, so you know, all right, between 196th and 202nd on Johnson Street, that cops like to be there, so guess what you decide to do? When you're right there specifically, you don't speed. So your behavior is changing in a predictable way because of the incentive of wanting to avoid a traffic ticket. If, on the other hand, I now gave you somehow like some kind of mythical free speeding pass that you could never get pulled over for speeding no matter how fast you were going, well, I can predict that you probably would start driving faster than you would if you were driving through a speed trap. So again, you respond to you respond to the incentive in a predictable way to receive rewards, benefits, or to avoid punishments. Going back to video 2, when we were talking about should you wake up, well, here are some different things. These, again, change our incentives about should we wake up or should we hit snooze. One is you realize, hey, it's Saturday morning, my alarm shouldn't have gone off today anyway. No, you shouldn't get up. If you're on vacation, you're relaxing. Again, if you don't have to be somewhere at a certain time, you probably shouldn't get up then either. Go back to sleep. Why did you set an alarm anyway? On the other hand, you have to catch a flight so that you can go on vacation. And your flight leaves in an hour and a half and you know it takes time to get to the airport and go through security, you should probably wake up because you really don't want to miss your vacation. So again, is it worth it to sleep an extra 9 minutes and run the risk of missing your flight? Obviously not. So you should wake up. You have a job interview. Going to make lots of money, but you need to get to that job interview on time. Again, you should probably wake up. You don't want to be rushing. You don't want to be waiting to the last minute. So again, our incentives will help us to choose what is the best decision for us to make. This has been a LaMoney production.